He breaks the seal, reads the letter, gets completely sucked into it, turns up at the next scene wearing yellow stockings and cross-gartered, and he comes on to Olivia, trying to, win her heart, and she's absolutely horrified. It's hilarious. It's done well. It's really, really funny. Um, and she cannot understand what's going on, and then she dismisses him. She has him arrested, and he's thrown into a pit, like Satan's thrown into a pit. He's thrown into a dungeon, deep dungeon. But what's significant and what has escaped everybody's awareness is this thing about not so much the yellow stockings, but the idea that they were cross-gartered. So think about it for a minute. What is a garter? What is a garter? Women used to wear, that's what blokes wore, wear garters, what they did back in the day. But, a garter is a suspender, isn't it? Like it keeps your stockings up or your socks up. So to be cross-gartered means to be suspended by a cross, doesn't it? It's right there. So here's the thing. There's a really interesting twist here that's absolutely critical. Malvolio was cross-gartered, okay, which means he was suspended by a cross, cross-gartered, suspended by a cross, which means he was crucified. Shakespeare's telling us that Malvolio was crucified most villainously. And that alludes to what we know that Jesus was crucified between two villains. So he's giving us another corroboration of the theory. But the point is that Malvolio is not Jesus. He doesn't represent Jesus. He represents Satan. There are over 20 allusions to Malvolio regarding his being the devil in various guises, one after the other, from Sir Toby and and Sir Andrew and Floria and other people hiding in the bushes, watching him, dig his own grave, fall into his own trap. So what this is telling us, again, it's one of Shakespeare's themes, is that it's not so much that Jesus died on the cross, but that he sacrificed his own body. He took Satan into his body, into his energy field, and not just his body. But Satan is not just a body, it's a consciousness, a state of consciousness that affects everything everything that's been created, through which we as a soul expresses. The power of that, his rule over all of that creation of humanity, was ended. It was a mystical event that changed the structure and the nature of consciousness for good. Okay. And what's important is that the blood, don't ask me how this works mystically, I mean, who knows? But the blood, his blood, the sangral, it not only sealed the New Testament, but it unsealed the Old Testament. That's the bit they don't want us to know, because with the Old Testament comes the sin, and the control, the fear, the guilt, the sin, the terror, the trap. That's what they dare not tell us. And that's why the legend of the Holy Grail was incepted in the first place, because something was needed to get into the language, into literature that kept the truth alive. And it did, it has, and here we are. And to our great delight, my great delight anyway, and absolute surprise, so I can assure you I was not looking for it. The whole thing, everything that we've not been told, about the Grail is embedded in throughout Shakespeare's plays and from different perspectives.